W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't. It's on you.
All right. Let's get it going here. Let's start out with some positive. I actually got more positive than negative this week. So I'm giving a dub out to the NBA's The Jump weekly television show. I'm giving it a dub because it is actually some pretty good must-see TV. Not because of the NBA takes or the content, but because of the constant bickering that goes on that set between Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, Malika Anderson as well. She's gotten into the whole back and forth shit. Is this ghetto over there?
You like it when women get into it as well, just because you look at people like Molly Qerim, who doesn't, like, she just hosts and stays out of the way.
Well, Molly just kind of like goes along with whatever Colin is saying. She's not very well. You know what? She'll push back every now and again, but it ain't too often. She's just kind of there.
Yeah, no, I like when they also get into it. Like, don't have a personality that's not also within the discussion.
Like, I feel like when Molly says something, I don't know. I think I just had Joy Taylor and Molly Qerim mixed up. But when Molly says something, it be forced. Like, she doesn't get a whole lot of opportunities to put her viewpoint to the forefront. Mm-hmm. So when she's trying to say something, she literally has to interrupt the entire conversation to get anything said. So it feels off.
Joy Taylor kind of comes back at Colin.
Yeah. Joy Taylor does. She goes back and forth with him a lot. Yeah. But I was watching The Jump this week, right? And it was before game 3. And so they were talking about the Byron Maxwell, Draymond Green stuff that was going on. If he'd have did that to me, he'd have got knocked out or something like that. If he played in my area, he got knocked out. And Draymond like, well, hey, look, man, it's always the motherfuckers that's talking about what would have happened that wasn't the ones doing it, right? Yep. So it was just a short back and forth. So they asked Richard and Perk about it. Richard was more so on the side of Draymond, like, yeah, you're right, like, a lot of older players, like to talk about toughness and what the league was like, but it's the league that was created for us. Like, we didn't change these rules. We didn't take away the hand check, like the stop of freedom of motion and all that other stuff. We didn't do those points of emphasis. That's just the league that we came into. So it's not. But in retrospect, it allowed people to show their skill sets differently. Like, you have no idea what your players would look like if you had freedom of motion in your era as well. So it's just it's a back and forth. Mm-hmm. Here come Kendrick. I just think that it's just a whole bunch of much to do. You didn't have to put all of that on it. And your era is your era, my era is my era, and that's it. And so apparently that just lit a fire in Richard Jefferson because he was just not fucking having it. I hope we can find this clip so we can put it in. He was just like, yeah, no, I don't know. You don't know what you're talking about, Kendrick. Like, just you don't know what you're talking about. And so Kendrick started getting excited. And this is funny when I see this happen. When two people are in a discussion and they're both clearly excited, but then one person realizes that the level has changed and they start telling people, they start saying, "Why are you yelling?"
New generation players try to explain why.
Why are you yelling? Like clearly it's two people in the middle of engaged in an argument, and then whoever realizes it first is they want to be like, no, but why are you yelling though? Why are you yelling? And that's what Richard did to Kendrick Perkins.
Oh damn!
And got him pissed off, right? So Malika's trying to change the subject. And you could just see her looking at Emeka Dumike like, yeah, all right. So next subject, let's move on. Because they literally in her ear in the background still arguing. He didn't call Richard Jefferson a baby, right? And so as they're going to commercial, because we got to cut off of this shit, right? Richard Jefferson says back to Kendrick Perkins, and like, oh, I guess we must be having a eating contest when we come back or something like that. Needless to say, when they returned from commercial break, Richard Jefferson was no longer at the table. Oh, so damn. I know that shit was real. Yeah. That shit was real for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, Perk called Richard Jefferson a baby for asking him why he was still yelling. And then when they said that them two was going to be back after the break, he was like, oh, I guess we about to have an eating contest. Like, this is the greatest 5 minutes of ESPN I've seen in months.
That's hilarious.
That was great.
I love Rich Jeff.
It was great.
Very logical guy, but he can be hilarious, obviously, when he needs to be as well.
And then later that day, I saw a video montage of Kendrick Perkins airballing skyhooks and free throws. So, just kind of brought everything full circle.
Yikes.
All right. Giving another dub out to the first addition to the Lakers coaching staff, Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, man. Coming on to coach Darvin Ham's, onto his coaching staff, coming onto the team. I like this for a specific reason. I haven't really played too much into, his comments on Westbrook or anything like that. I don't care. He's an assistant. He doesn't decide who starts.
Yeah.
But I like it because of what he can do for Anthony Davis's game. For a guy who was a stretch big in a time where that really wasn't a position, I think he can do a lot for Anthony Davis in terms of helping him get to spots, helping him open up his shots, like explaining that to Anthony Davis. I think the conventional wisdom is there, and I think it's pretty obvious to all of us how Anthony Davis frees up his jumper. But maybe it takes a guy who's done it.
Yeah.
Right? Not just having a coach who has played, but a guy who has literally been successful scoring from the parts of the floor that you want to be successful from.
Agreed.
Right? It's like, when Kareem comes around and tries to counsel Laker bigs, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I like the hire in that regard. I did hear what he said about Westbrook last year. I just kind of chalked that up as a throwaway statement because what does it mean? So since he thinks that Westbrook's the best player in the league, that means Westbrook's going to stay here definitively? No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means.
I mean, he's just an assistant coach.
He's just an assistant coach. It doesn't mean anything to me that he's a Westbrook fan.
Yeah.
But it does mean something to me that he was a taller big with shooting prowess and a handle, because we need you to unlock that guy. Again, we need that dude back from 2020. He's been missing in action for 2 years.
Can't help his injuries, but
yeah, still, where he was trying to get his money last year, just wasn't working out. So we'll have to figure something else out.
I saw a clip of somebody on Twitter wrote like, "Oh, this is who we got coaching the Lakers now," and it's just Darvin Ham dunking on niggas.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, I don't even remember the name Darvin Ham, let alone watching him break a backboard.
Yeah,
fam, what? Okay, 90s Shannon Brown, I see you.
That was wild.
Literally like a earliest 90s
That's crazy.
Shannon Brown. I am giving a big dub out to GOAT Tiger Woods. Got to give him a dub, man, for turning down a $1 billion contract with a Saudi-ran golfing league looking to compete with the PGA Tour. Not necessarily the bucking of the league or their competition with the PGA Tour. That's not the reason why I'm giving him a dub. I'm giving him a dub for turning down billions of dollars for not wanting to be involved with a mass murderer, by not wanting to be involved with in any way, shape, or form the Saudi government. Tiger Woods himself, one man, as a singular person, has more balls than the entire U.S. government. So for that, I will applaud him, because that's just not something that you see typically. $1 billion with a B, capital letter B? No, nobody turns that down. I'm embarrassed to say that I couldn't have possibly. You need me to do what? Shit, for $1 billion, I'll wipe down all the clubs. I'll be in there. What you need, Mr. Ben Salman?
Well, it actually has been announced by Forbes that he has surpassed $1 billion in net worth. So
Mohammed bin Salman?
No, Tiger Woods.
Oh, sure. But
so
$1 billion in net worth and $1 billion salary
it's two completely
different things. Yeah,
but
you can be worth $1 trillion with $1 billion salary.
But being worth $1 billion has to play differently for that $1 billion contract than it would me and you looking at $1 billion.
I don't know, man. Well, sure. Oh, yeah. Well, no, absolutely. It's different. Tiger Woods saying no than me or you, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, no. 100%.
Shout out to him for becoming a billionaire, and LeBron is also.
Let's say LeBron getting into that stratosphere. So shout out to them both. I guess we're going to spend a little bit more time on this one. I am giving the Cleveland Browns an L for deciding mutually, sure, Cleveland, sure, that Baker Mayfield should not show up to off-season OTAs. Now, we don't do a lot of NFL news here, but I thought when I saw this, it was extremely stupid, number one, and I also thought it could lead us into a bigger conversation about Deshaun and all these allegations that he's got going on right now. So first of all, the Cleveland Browns are idiots. And how you fumbled this situation so bad, like I don't even understand. So from my understanding, he has a team option for this year. Baker Mayfield has a team option for this year only. If you have a guy that you just traded for that you think is going to be the future of your franchise and he may or may not be available for this season, wouldn't it behoove you to have a backup plan? Oh, I don't know. Maybe a quarterback that's been in your system for the last 2 to 3 years and is relatively cheap as opposed to what it's going to cost you to find a quarterback now at these late stages of the offseason or in these middle stages of the offseason. Maybe just pick up his team option or his player option or his team option. If they're picking it up, it's a team option. Mm-hmm. Maybe just pick up his team option for the $20 million or so that he's asking for and just rock it out with the quarterback that's been there for a while until the other guy shows up, maybe. No. We're Cleveland Browns. We got to overcomplicate shit. Send that quarterback home, and we have no idea when this guy's going to be able to play. We'll just throw it up, and we'll just, waste a fucking season so that we don't have to pay Baker Mayfield.
That's peak Browns.
It absolutely is.
Front office behavior.
It absolutely 1,000% mutual decision. Zero shot that was mutual. Zero. You think Baker would rather sit on the sidelines making no money as opposed to making $19 million with the team that he just played for last year? Before the embarrassment, right? Pre-embarrassment. Because the Cleveland Browns have done themselves no favors in terms of how they treat a quarterback or how they treat their talent. Say what you want, but this is not look well on them as an organization, how all this has been handled. Especially when you're talking about the guy that you're shipping him out for has all of this scandal around him. It kind of looks really gross.
Yeah.
It looks really gross.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it looks like, so we were talking before about the specific cases of Deshaun Watson. It does look like most of these are stemming from massage therapists.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like now that we've moved away from Baker Mayfield, I just have a question to ask everyone. Because I don't know what all has been alleged. I haven't read through all 24 of the allegations. But if this is isolated to the massage parlor thing, question one is, well, I guess I got 3 questions. Are those illegal? Question 2 is, if he went to an establishment, he went to a business, paid for a service, the worker then signs a non-disclosure agreement, why the hell are we sitting up here talking about sexual assault allegations? 3, where the fuck is Robert Kraft in all of this? Now, that has to be one of the hardest questions that they're wrestling over, thinking about how they handled the Robert Kraft situation and how essentially he got let off. Now, this is a very similar situation. If it's not apples to apples, it's apples to crab apples. So we can understand the nuances of sex work in America when we're talking about Robert Kraft, the old white guy who owns a team, but not when we're talking about Deshaun Watson, the young black guy who plays for one. You see how y'all act? Y'all see how y'all act? Now, again, if something's alleged outside of the happy endings, then, educate me. Let me know. Tell me exactly what we're dealing with here. Because what you're painting him as is a predator, someone who forced himself upon women against their will. Happy ending sounds like he paid for something they did. They signed a piece of paper. He went home and came back the following week.
Well, okay.
Which doesn't sound very fair when we're talking about sexual assault.
Some of these do sound like a little bit more aggressive in nature. Sounds borderline sexual assault. Some of these are seem to be consensual, completely consensual, but some of these seem like he forced, or he did more than what was supposed to be happening, or I guess one of these were a third civil lawsuit was filed against Watson alleging that he had forced a massage therapist to perform oral sex on him before she blacked out in an office building. She was shaken and defecated on herself.
Yo, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So it would seem that some of these are a little bit more aggressive.
Okay. And no, that's outrageous if it's true. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the caveat that I would propose to you. Not necessarily in believing, these individual stories, but now you have an establishment who's in some legal ambiguity over services that they were provided towards this individual, and the company he works for is not on our side. Right, the company that we were doing this at the behest of is not on our side. They're leaving us out to dry. So what besides this man that we were performing these services for forced it upon us or made us do it? What else would you expect them to say from the business's standpoint? What else would you expect them to say? Like now they themselves are in jeopardy, or in some, at very least, some legal ambiguity over the services that they're providing now. So what would you expect them to say? This is where the difference between the Kraft and the Watson situation goes on, because that parlor was not trying to out Robert Kraft. We only know about that shit because of security footage that was obtained in the NFL's investigation. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear all of this because the establishment came out and said, yeah, he forced all of our employees to do this, that, and the third to all of them. I don't know how happy endings work. I don't know how the massage parlor jack off thing works. I don't. But I would venture to believe that if somebody goes in there expecting that they were either told or communicated to that that's where they can have it at. Mm. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Because there's no rules to sex work. There's no rules to it. It's not sanctioned business. It's not like if I get robbed selling drugs, can I sue the robber?
I think the gray area ends when they're like, obviously sex work is two consenting individuals involved in a transactional. Right.
And if that's what you're involved in, then how could And no, that story that you just told, obviously that's above and beyond. Like that's not anything that should be accepted, even if it is consensual sex.
Yeah.
What I'm struggling with is an establishment that sells sex, and most of the allegations are around the actual services that you provide. That's the problem that I'm having. Every single one of these allegations is not he forced me to do something. And that's what they keep flashing to you when they say, oh, 23 allegations, 24 allegations, 20 this allegations. They're trying to compound the amount of women that are trying to say that he's done something wrong to him. Well, but within that, we know definitively that some amount
were consensual.
Yeah. So it's misleading.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
And unfortunately, the way the NFL moves and the way that they do business is if it's one or two, it's ignorable. Usually 24 is a little excessive. So that's why you got everything that's going on right now. But I am not clear on everything that is being accused. I don't understand what the actual accusations are, because if this is all stemmed around this man getting happy ending massages, you got quite a few more people that you're going to need to throw under the bus, starting with Robert Kraft. But yeah, I don't know. This is real murky stuff.
For sure.
And here are the Cleveland Browns ready to take the flyer. We'll take them.
Yeah, without any kind of hesitation or second guessing at all. Or at least it seems
Baker in
that
the
way.
background. I still play here. Fuck off, Baker. Hey, Deshaun, come here. Come on.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Got a little bit of a longer list, but some of these are going to go by pretty quickly. I'm going to give my first dub to an individual who is out there absolutely winning. I'm sure, just like most people, I'm a person who has worked hard in the industry that they're currently in. I'm in banking, and I've had to work quite a bit at my craft to get to where I am, to gain the salary that I'm worth, obviously, just like everybody else. And so it at some level pains me to see this, but at the same time, you got to applaud a person who's absolutely winning. And that is Snoop Dogg's current blunt roller, who is making $50,000 and has just received a raise from Snoop Dogg for being his personal blunt roller.
Wait, $50,000 a year just to sit there and roll blunts for Snoop?
$50K to roll blunts for Snoop. And I remember he was basically advertising this job listing on his social media. I believe it was a couple years ago. And so now this person has earned a raise according to Snoop Dogg.
What are the requirements?
Rolling a good blunt.
Like what? $50,000?
$50K a year just to make sure that Snoop Dogg's blunts are rolling.
Niggas over here paying the goddamn roller his feature price.
But $50K is nothing for Snoop, because I'm sure he's making more from Corona and hosting the Olympics with Kevin Hart, Doritos, Martha Stewart shit.
Martha Stewart shit.
Whatever the fuck he's doing with Martha Stewart these days. But yeah, to be able to pay another grown human being $50K and then giving them a raise on top of that. That person's winning, Snoop's winning.
Shout out to Snoop and his blunt roller.
That's crazy to me. That he could just be like, you know what, man? I'm tired of rolling these blunts. Here's $50K, bro. Just roll the rest.
Just roll it forever.
Oh man, I want to be that person so bad. Anyway, a dub goes to Marvel in a sense, because it's announced that in 2023 they are going to release the Nova movie, which we have discussed, because that is a movie that Marcus said that he would like Michael Bay to direct.
Michael Bay. I don't care. Fight me. Michael Bay doing the Nova. I like his cinematic style, man. I like the low cuts over the protagonist, that the shining gleam off in the corner, loud big explosions. He always has a certain tint to his films that makes me know that like this is a Michael Bay film. Like,
for sure.
All the Transformers, Armageddon,
that Mark Wahlberg and Rock movie,
Get Pain is Gain, The Island. They all have a certain type of tint to them. It makes you know that it's a Michael Bay film.
They do.
100% think he can do that. He can
I think that style definitely
film.
fits for a superhero movie. So
especially one like Nova with a power set like that. Mm-hmm. I would love to see it happen. For sure.
It could happen. I want to give my next dub. Surprised you didn't talk about this. I'm going to give my next dub to the collective pettiness of the internet, specifically Twitter. Recently, we have seen change.org petitions do a good thing and making sure that Recast T'Challa got to 60,000 signatures. So a big dub to that. We already talked about that in one of our main topics. So, it seems like it's a very effective way to communicate that the people as a whole are all behind something. Mm-hmm. And so there's another petition that's out there that's getting quite a few signatures. Let me just read the title of said change.org petition. We were all busy that weekend. Please bring Morbius to the theater a third time.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
We were all busy that weekend. Can you just make Morbius happen a third time, please?
No, but they haven't stopped, though, because they went back and added Morbius extra credit scenes on the end of No Way Home.
Oh my
gosh. Not for the re-release, for it's like bonus footage. Dog. I can't help you, Sony. There's nothing that can be done to save you. Nothing. There is nothing that can be done to save Sony films.
It's currently at 17,601 signatures, 602.
Oh, let's release it in 500 theaters.
603. Yeah, gotta love the collective pettiness of the internet because they're going to make this thing happen a third time. Let's please.
No, they're not.
Please,
they're not going to re-release it again.
Make it happen a third time.
The fact that they're even talking about adding this character to more things in that universe is embarrassing. It is utterly embarrassing.
Oh, Tyrese was so happy for this movie before it came out, and now
it's gonna be in the MCU. It's gonna be in the MCU. No, the fuck it ain't.
Oh man, yeah, man, make it happen. Morbius 3.
He was so excited.
He was
excited to be doing something other than Fast and Furious #1.
He thought this was the one that was going to take him out of here.
I mean, if there's any consolation, I've only heard good things about his performance, him and Jared Leto. You know, I haven't heard any bad acting takes in terms of, you know.
The movie was just bad.
Yeah, the movie was absolute shit.
But it is Morbin time, so make Morbius 3 happen.
It is not.
Make Morbius happen a third time.
Please don't.
Let's do it. On to my L's. Okay. Where to start with this one? So we've talked before about the fact that celebrities are out here collecting the bag, doing what it is that we do, podcasting, even when they're not necessarily talking about shit, which is kind of annoying to deal with. We are a podcast who prides ourselves on the content we talk about, the integrity and how we do it, and in all, basically making good content. And when you see celebrities out here who are making lackluster content or content that is only relevant because they're the names behind it, it's kind of discouraging, to say the least. So Carisha, aka Young Miami, has a new podcast.
Oh God!
What is it?
This where she told Diddy, "We go together"?
Yes.
I feel like we just go together.
Yes.
Whatever you say.
I feel like you single, but we go together. So how would you feel if I be telling people that I'm single because we go together? I'm not laughing.
Yeah. Hold on.
It ain't no hold on.
We go together now?
Real bad.
Okay. Whatever you say.
I like that.
Yes.
First of all, whatever you say is not a yes.
It's definitely not a yes.
It's not a yes.
It's please get away from me with this fucking question.
Or it's, hey, we'll discuss this later, but can we stop talking about it right now on the internet?
Yeah, her podcast, Carisha Please, has been getting a lot of love from her fan base because, of course, why wouldn't it? That's how these celebrity podcasts grow. Yeah. My only problem is, one, it's not good content. Carisha is not a good host. She's sitting there basically having a normal conversation with Diddy where there's nothing transformative. There's nothing that I really even need to care about. It's their relationship. I don't really give a shit about their relationship. Their relationship's actually kind of weird because he's pushing 60 almost.
So old. He's so old.
And to be honest with you, I'd rather hear more from fucking Lori Harvey about how she dated his son and Diddy. I would much rather hear about that.
Interview her. Interview Lori Harvey.
I'd much rather hear about that.
I swear to God, I'll subscribe and watch that.
I'd much rather hear about that.
Interview Lori Harvey, and you ain't got to ask her all the deets, but just be like, hey, yo, so how did that work?
like, come on, man. You got to tell me something about that.
Like, where they do that at? How y'all do that? Was it his idea?
You know? Also, I don't like it because you're really only getting this platform because it's on Revolt. It's Diddy's platform. He gave you this.
Shut the fuck up. The podcast is on Revolt. You meaning she didn't just make an email and create a fucking YouTube account? It's on Revolt.
It's on Revolt.
That's what I mean though, y'all. That's exactly what I mean. Like, podcasting or at least it used to be something that grew into that size organically. It's a bastardization of what this is. To have a new podcast just instantly, but not, I can't even call it a bubble because a bubble represents a burst or something that happens naturally. Mm-hmm. This is just like it's.
I'm famous, so follow me here too.
Yeah, it's too commercial. It's my boyfriend has a network And I felt like I wanted to do a podcast, so we just gonna air it on here.
And I'm already famous, so
right. I'm
I'm
gonna bring my drove of fans over here who are going to subscribe and then probably never really listen to what it is going on the podcast.
And if they do listen, they're only listening because I am who I am. It's not because I'm saying anything of real substance.
We sound like we hating. We hating a bit.
But it's because
it's the truth, though.
You know what? Like if she actually made good content out of it, I'd be like, props, you did your thing. But it's Young Miami being Young Miami for however long the video is. I didn't even get through the whole thing. You know what the problem is? Because
it's not. I mean, she's famous. She's not going to get unfamous, right? It is what it is. If you wanted to start a podcast, I would have much rather you seen you start a podcast. Put your shit out on audio on Apple Music and Spotify and all that other stuff. Get you a YouTube channel and grow it. Like, just by the fact that your name is Young Miami, you're going to have a instant push of fans that come to your stuff. Now you got to find out what they like. You got to feed them the content that they want to see. You have to cultivate a community that you want to have around you, right? You got to collab with people. You actually have to do the work. She didn't do any of the work. Now, I think that's going to flesh itself out in how this ends up turning out, because I don't see it being
it's not
a very
last
successful
very
venture.
Long.
But that'll be the lesson, though. It's like, you didn't do the work.
Yeah. I guess my problem with it is I'm sick and tired of seeing celebrities become big in one fashion. And then because they are famous,
now they need to be famous in the fashion that's most accessible to normal people. Right? Like you're famous in a way that I would never be able to touch. I'll never be able to reach millions of people at one time. I'll never be able to be in an arena filled with hundreds of thousands or thousands of people, right? And they all looking at me.
Yeah.
That's not a platform that I can afford to myself. Mm-hmm. But conversely, right, these type of platforms are supposed to be ones in which normal, ordinary people have a voice, have a vehicle by which to promote their business, their product, their content, what have you. And so when celebrities circumvent the process, number one, but then also implement themselves in a space where I don't say they're not welcome, but they don't have to be here. Like, you don't need to grow yourself on this platform because you're grown, you know?
Yeah, I guess my biggest gripe with it is that you become famous for one thing. And in this case, for all the examples I'm about to give, it's rap music. You become really good at rap music and you become famous off of it. Mm-hmm. And then you take that, and I don't even mind that you make moves off of it, because at the end of the day, you're going to do one thing, you're going to try to monetize or move on to other things as it pertains. Like LL Cool J, Ice-T, Ice Cube, they all went on to do other things. That's perfectly fine. My problem is you take rap and then you become this jack of all trades, to where you're not really a master at one thing. You become really mediocre at multiple fucking things.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, it cheapens the craft of all of the things you're trying, right? So like T.I. being a legendary trap artist, becoming a fucking stand-up comedian and becoming extremely mediocre at it and basically shitting on the craft. Right? Jack Harlow.
Because you have the access to do so.
Because people are so in love with celebrities.
Or you have a passion for it, but just because you have the money to do so and you have the access to do so.
And it's because people are so in love with celebrities.
Yeah.
At every turn that they make. Jack Harlow being everyone, or black women's, biggest love interest at the moment, and turning that into I'm gonna try movies. I'm gonna be in the White Men Can't Jump remake, and we don't even know if bro can act. You know what I mean? Like
whatsoever.
That's just so stupid. Like, stop turning into the jack of all trades for everything and then doing it shittily. Like, if you want to become
that's a good example. The Jack Harlow is a perfect example, because it's like, you haven't seen Jack Harlow act anywhere. I ain't seen him in a TV show, commercial, not a goddamn thing.
You know?
Acting like he like black girls. I'm playing. I don't know what he likes. But
no, well, he did say as much. He said he's always loved black women in some headline.
Okay, well, sure. If he does, he does. I don't know him. I'm saying, like, just the fact that he was able to get such a role, Like, you don't think Tom Holland would have loved to play Woody Harrelson's? I keep talking about Tom. I swear to God, Tom Holland is the only young white boy that pops up in my head when I think of young white actors.
Tom Holland would be nuts in that role.
If White Man Can't Jump.
The only worst option, not worse, but the only maybe more awkward person.
I'm just saying,
I can see.
you don't think that's a role that somebody would like to play?
Oh yeah.
An actor who's already in Hollywood, getting roles, fighting for roles, sleeping on the floor somewhere, waiting tables, working 3 or 4 jobs just to have the opportunity to audition for this role in White Man Can't Jump. And they gave it to fucking Jack Harlow.
But even that's my thing. Like if I knew that Jack Harlow was taking the steps necessary to slowly but surely work his way into that.
Like if Jack Harlow had already been to 5, 6, 7 auditions, didn't land anything, and this was the 8th one and he finally got a role, good on him. That's the work. That's the work. But what they're doing is they are buying celebrity in places where they can't earn it naturally.
Which I hate so much. I'm sick of it, to be honest with you. I already don't ascribe to celebrity worship like that. Mm-hmm. So to see this is what it's becoming now is just, like I said, man, I'm growing extremely disinterested in all of this shit. I'm just not fucking with it at all. Mm-hmm. My next L is going to go to a person who, as far as the music industry, this is crazy how we're tying into this. As far as it comes to the music industry, should be somebody who is a little bit more inclined with all of the people who are in his corner. Solange's son, who is about 18, 19, released a snippet of him rapping.
I had to pack that heat. She kept showing all the signs, but kept disturbing all my peace. I'm trying to feed the game to niggas, but they always think it's sweet. Just like Future said a while ago, the feds just did a sweep. Fuck the London drip. We gonna get our clothes shipped out from Greece.
Lordy.
Considering he has Hove, I'm assuming, in his contacts. You know, he's got Auntie Beyonce,
Auntie Bay,
his mama Solange. I'm sure he has people in his corner who can help him become a little bit better than what the fuck I heard on that fucking snippet.
Your mama is Solange, your uncle is Jay-Z, your auntie is Beyonce, and your rap sounds like filth.
Your cousin Blue Ivy already has a Grammy.
Yeah, and your shit sounds like trash. Garbage.
But I guess
Garbaggio.
I also I want to give him an L because he's well deserving of it. But in the snippet, he's kind of talking about shit that, you know, as Solange's son, he probably has never lived. Like, you know, getting packs off and shooting at the ops is something you've never dealt with.
What are you speaking of?
That
you
is
live in Calabasas, shit. Fam. Ain't no ops in Calabasas. You mean opera? Like, what are you talking about?
But it's funny that you mentioned ops specifically, because I also want to give an L to somebody who also we've seen not live a certain life, but keeps wanting to persuade us that he lives a certain life in his raps that people don't want to talk about as much, but he's got ops, and that is Drake.
I knew it.
We want to give so much hate to young Solange's son, but then we don't want to ascribe this same hate to somebody that we love in Drake.
Why, bro? Because he got a Drake in his bitch and it's not him? Because he checked the weather and it's looking real oppy outside?
That's not even a good line. That's not even a good bar. Look, I'm not going to take this as time to like hate on Drake all that much. But if you're going to give the hate to Solange's son, give the same hate to Drake, because we seen him in Degrassi.
That's fair. Wheelchair Jimmy is not going to bust a grape. If there's anything that we've seen from his rap beefs is that it will never come to fisticuffs. And even if you talk about him too bad, he'll run away and talk about crying foul play. So from that perspective, yes, he does talk a lot tougher than he seems to act in real life.
I'm just saying, fam. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to take this whole time to just shit on Drake, but it's kind of weird that you give that same energy to him and you don't give that same energy to people we've seen do this exact same shit.
Yeah.
My last L, like I said, a little bit on a serious note. It's a pretty quick one, but I'm going to give an L to Atlanta. I probably should have mentioned this last week. But there's a lot of shit going on, man, between the shooting of rapper Trouble and then Metro Boomin, obviously
Metro Boomin wants some
extremely
more, nigga.
popular hip hop producer, but unfortunately, his mother was killed by her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend killed himself too.
Damn, man.
Crazy situation. Thoughts and prayers definitely go out to Metro Boomin. That is a extreme tragedy I couldn't even fathom. And then, you know, RIP to the loved ones of Trouble as well, man. Like, Trouble had a couple of hits that I definitely fucked with. He wasn't a huge rap star, but he had a couple of joints that went. So definitely want to, you know, say thoughts and prayers to his family as well, his loved ones. Got to do better as a whole in the community, man. Like, we can't just keep seeing rappers and things of that, you know, go. Unfortunately, we can't keep seeing this in the community.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take for niggas to realize that, like, we don't have to die to settle disputes. Like, even if you don't want to take the higher road and you know, have any type of mediation, nothing like that. Like, fam, it's ways to handle your business as a man without taking a life. And I'll go even further and say that if you can't handle your business as a man without taking a life, you're not a man at all. You a boy. It takes somebody with enough 8 pounds of pressure or so to do this. Anybody can do that. A fucking child can do that. A toddler can do that. This don't make you a man, yo. If you doing this protecting your family, good. You doing this protecting your person or your property, that's on you. But
this is protecting their ego.
Yeah, this don't make you tough, boy. This don't make you tough. Everybody with an asshole can do this. And we all got those. Everyone can do this. Can you do this? Can you put them up and defend yourself?
Niggas can't, right? And they're afraid of taking that L in front of everybody.
If the burner's not there, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Run.
Somebody press you in the street with you and you with your lady and they caught you lacking. What? You gonna all right, stay here, yell in my wife's face while I go to the trunk.
No, them niggas is taking off without the gun.
Fuck is wrong with you?
This situation is especially heinous because, so I guess Trouble was, you know, he hooked up with some girl, and then, you know, he had, like, slept there after they had done the deed, and then the ex-boyfriend that came in and was causing all sorts of hell eventually got into an altercation with Trouble and then popped off. So, bullshit. It's still the same situation ultimately, but like I said, extremely heinous that it has to come to that situation. So again, thoughts and prayers to everybody involved in that situation, or thoughts and prayers to the loved ones of Trouble. Thoughts and prayers to Metro Boomin right now. It's a crazy situation
tragic,
to deal
bro.
with.
That is absolutely tragic. Prayers out to him and his family.
For sure. Any other dubs, L's, thoughts?
Whew, Lordy, that was a long session. No, sir. No, sir. Give us your dubs and L's in the comments below. Let us know what you thought of ours, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back every Wednesday at 10 for a new dubs and L's segment.
And make sure you check out our previous W's and L's in the W's and L's playlist. And make sure you subscribe. We like to do this every Wednesday, like you said, at 10 o'clock.